Hello and welcome to a beautifully sunny afternoon here in Havant, albeit a little windy here at Havant Rugby Club. But I'm Kath Brazier and BFBS are delighted to be bringing you two live games of rugby today as the Royal Navy take on their French counterparts, Marine Nationale. First up, it's the women, led by fly half Rose Dixon. They'll be looking to reverse their fortunes from last year. Cy Hunter spoke to both camps earlier today.
Jenks, great to see you once more. The sun is shining down here in Havant. What a wonderful occasion, and of course a real privilege to be hosting your French counterparts this evening too.
Yeah, absolutely. The sun, like you say, the sun is shining. The wind has picked up a little bit, so that might bring things in a little bit closer. But yeah, good. Looking forward to it.
And obviously on a synthetic surface, a 5G surface, one might expect a lot of open rugby, a lot of running rugby. But as you mentioned with that breeze, how pivotal is the kicking game going to be for both sides tonight?
If the wind's against us, then I don't think we'd be kicking at all. But yeah, let's just try it. Let's see how far it goes. We've got quick girls out on the sides, out on the back, so hopefully they can get underneath that ball if that kick goes far enough and the wind takes it that little bit further than we want.
And we know obviously of the respect between the sides, and it's great that you get to alternate who's hosting those matches. Things didn't quite go the way you'd want them to last year in Brittany. How much of an extra motivator is that perhaps this time around, if you need any extra motivation at all?
So this year we've got 9 new caps, so a potential 9 new caps from starting and on the bench. So that just shows how far we've actually come from September right up until sort of the inter-services campaign. And hopefully these new girls, they have no idea what the French are like. So it's a complete blank canvas for them to go out and showcase what they got.
Well, we look forward to seeing that, and all the very best of luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Martina, great to see you. Fantastic occasion today. How excited is the team ahead of the match?
We are really excited and we're ready to win.
And what do you expect from the Navy, the Royal Navy, in terms of their style and what you have to be training for?
I don't know, it's my first time with them, so I can't answer the question, so I will see later.
And obviously lots of sunshine and blue skies, but quite windy as well. How much might that affect your plans today?
We're not worried about that. It's not the wind, we're not afraid about the wind.
And a great opportunity, obviously, when you take on, that rivalry between a British team and a French team as well. It's a fantastic opportunity for you too.
Yes, it is. Yeah. I don't know what. I don't have the words to answer.
No problem at all. Well, very best of luck. Good luck today, and hope all goes well.
Thank you.
So that fixture in 2024 saw a thumping win for the French, 38-5. So the Royal Navy women will be looking this afternoon to take advantage of home advantage. Your commentary team today is Simon Hunter, and he's joined by Rocky Clark.
Hello, thank you, Kath, and a very warm welcome to a sunny south coast of England for this feast of live rugby union between the Royal Navy women and their French counterparts, the Marine Nationale Feminine. Havant RFC is the host as an old rivalry reignites. Last time the sides met was in Vannes in Brittany in 2024 with a resounding 34-5 win for the French. So this time, can the home side win back the bragging rights? With such warm and clear conditions today, everyone here is hoping for lots of open rugby and some thrilling play on the 5G surface, but there is quite a stiff breeze, so the kicking games for both sides may come under some scrutiny. It's a real privilege to have alongside me in commentary this evening a World Cup winning great who lined out 137 times for England, Rocky Clark, MBE. Good evening to you. How are you, Rocky?
Yeah, absolutely delighted to be here. It is a cracking day. The sun is belting down. The fans are coming in. The teams look on fire already in their warm-up. It's going to be a cracking game.
Absolutely. And as the band continues to play there, you just sense that atmosphere building. Both sides have been out, of course, doing their warm-ups as well. And the international aspect of this fixture just adds that extra element to it as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's always some good old ding-dongs between the English and the French, so it's fantastic. They've got the band out there. I was having a little strut earlier, so was you. So it was great to get this carnival atmosphere and really enjoying it.
And we're in that part of the year. Of course, the Women's Six Nations in full swing. And we look ahead to inter-service rugby coming up very soon. So there is the extra context as well, I think, when you look at a fixture such as this. The teams, you know, it is full caps for the Royal Navy side. And there are 9 new faces in that squad too. So chances to impress, you'd be thinking, for some of the coaches.
Exactly, it's about putting their hands up and to see what the team can do. Obviously, France are away and they've been in camp for the last few days, but putting in the prep. And for the English, obviously, they don't get that much time together, so it's really important they make it count. They'll be looking to build on last year's result and making sure they get some really good change from it. I saw the English rugby team get themselves ready and rocking with their structure. The Navy were just setting up, making sure they were going through their phases, and that's something that I think they've needed to improve over the last few years, and I think we'll see it this time.
Well, you mentioned that fixture last year, that 44, I should say, points to 5 defeat for the Royal Navy. So obviously a very stiff test today, but looking to challenge strongly with that home advantage and hoping that'll count for something as well down here in the South Coast. Of course, a bastion of Royal Navy rugby.
Yeah, absolutely, and to play in front of your friends and family and fans who are here, it's massive to be on home soil. So this is huge, and obviously beautiful day to be playing some decent rugby. We're going to see some jouet throwing the ball around. As you've seen, it's a fast pitch as well. I'm expecting big things.
And I think it makes it extra special when you have a double header such as this, of course, with the men playing later. And the crowd building steadily here as well, down in Havant. And exciting for all them to watch. And good to see a range of ages, and you have men, women and kids here as well to watch. They'll be hoping for some very good rugby indeed. And probably, you would say, an opportunity to throw the ball around a little bit, even as they're sussing each other out in the first stages.
Yeah, what's really important is they stick to their process and earn the right to go wide or get that offloading game in. But first of all, it's about doing the basics well. You know, that's a cliche, but they want to get themselves into the game. So who's going to put in that big tackle? Who's going to carry really hard, bounce that first player, get that offload in? So both teams are going to be going hammer and tong in the first 5-10 minutes, and I'd expect them to sort of go into that arm wrestle in that first quarter and then see who comes out on top.
And maybe one of those occasions, we always talk about how important the toss is in cricket, but sometimes the toss, of course, in rugby as well, when you have those windy conditions, can be a benefit. And you know, for whichever side in the first half is facing that wind, then they'll just have to think a bit more carefully as well about their kicking game.
Yeah, exactly. It's tactical who obviously gets the end with the wind, and then it's about utilising those conditions. So if you're up against it, you've got to get yourself out of it. You carry hard, try and get those low driving kicks in. But if you've got the wind behind you, you want to play in the right areas of the pitch, turn the opposition, put pressure on them, and then you know if you're playing in their 22, then hopefully you get the turnover and you can get some points in there.
Well, we always talk about how important it is to build the depth of the squad and see some of those new faces, as we allude to, coming through for the Royal Navy. But for some of the more experienced players, we look at Rose Dixon leading from the front, as she always does, fly half this evening. And you having represented your country, you know, 137 times for England, does it get any easier when it comes to nerves, you know, in big fixtures like this?
Do you know what? You get sort of used to it, but there's some fixtures that you just get you really nervous. And I'd imagine on a big stage like this, obviously putting your hat in the ring for the next few games as well, it's massive. And to have all your friends and family here as well, you want to do them proud, you want to play well. So there are certain games that make you nervous, and I would imagine today is one. But, you know, me having played so much, you just get used to it, and you're just able to deal with it a bit better. And players like Rose Dixon will be vital to sort of keep the nerves of the newbies coming in.
And Dixon leading her side out here. The Royal Navy women coming out to very warm applause on a rather warm spring day. Music brought to us by the band of the Royal Marines. And as we have a quick look at those sides this evening. Royal Navy led by the ever-present Rose Dixon at fly half, and partnering Josie Parnaby in the halfbacks. And Rosie Staples vice-captaining replacement hooker this evening. And Rebecca Addis starting in the number 2 shirt. Adrienne Baker and Lucy Honeybell for company in the front row. And Marine Nationale Feminine lining out in their red this evening. And out they come to respectful applause as well. And great spirit between these sides. And a special occasion, of course, for them travelling over for this fixture as well. I'm speaking to Fiona, who's in the management for that side, who created the team, really. And saying how special an occasion this is, how excited they are, as we see some French tricolour as well in the audience, in the crowd. And the dignitaries get ready to meet the players. And general air of calm before the storm as this match ticks ever closer. And the pre-match presentation party is walking along there, the line of Marine Nationale players, and shaking their hands. And something that just hammers home the significance of this match. Representatives from both rugby unions, meeting the coaching staff as well there of the French side, as they approach the officials. Referee for this evening, Dewald Swart, with Martin Bentley, assistant referee 1, and Fraser Gray as well, and Rebecca Piddleston on hand 2. And just seeing some hair fluttering in the breeze, some flags fluttering in the breeze, as Rose Dixon shakes the hands of our dignitaries this evening, and an opportunity for her to introduce them to the team as they walk along that line. A line which moves ever so slightly further along, just to make sure they've spaced out enough to allow for those handshakes. And another proud moment, of course, for Rose Dixon. Led her side to the Inter-Services Championship last year. Lined out at Twickenham. And that increasingly...
Please be upstanding for the national anthems. England standing for God Save the King.
Well, wonderful reception for both sides. The Marseillaise, followed by God Save the King. And by the sounds of it, Rocky Clark. A fair few have made the journey from France to be supporting their side tonight, which just makes it even more interesting to hear the support for both teams when they kick off.
Yeah, it's massive when you're away from home and then you can hear the crowds on the national anthem singing after. You know you got some good support who've come across. Let's face it, it's not too far to come across, is it?
Yeah, fairly joyful journey, hopefully, for those who've made it across, and hopefully a joyful evening for both sets of supporters, friends, family of the players, those who've decided to come down to Havant RFC, their club. And great to see so many out here watching along. As, the Royal Navy just go through their final modes of preparation here, as well as their French opposition. The tackle bags out there. A good way just to dispense of potentially any of that nervous energy that may still be there. But a wonderful opportunity here. And the Royal Navy side led by skipper Rose Dixon, starting at fly half this evening, partnering Josie Parnaby in the halfbacks. And Rosie Staples vice-captaining as replacement hooker. Rebecca Addis starting in the number 2 shirt, with Adrienne Baker and Lucy Honeybell for company in the front row. And the French, captained by Clémence Ripin, actually carried the Olympic torch last year for the Paris Olympics. A wonderful honour for her. And she captains from the number 8 position, with Florian Froger and Morgan Garreau in the halfbacks as well. So the Royal Navy to get things going here. Kicking off to Marine Nationale Féminine. And Maria Douglas with the ball inside centre this evening. As the referee just checks everything's in order. Let's just wait for Adrienne Baker, loose head prop, to make her way onto the field. And full complement for both sides finally in the pitch, as we get ready to get underway here in Havant. And a fairly loose kick, but it forces the knock-on anyway from Clémence Ripin, the French skipper, and an early opportunity for the Royal Navy pack, Rocky Clark, to show what they're made of this evening.
Yeah, and that kick was just a little bit swirly, wasn't it? It just got held by the wind. Difficult one to take. So a good start for Royal Navy. They can starting their setup in the scrum, looking strong. It was an area they had to improve on over the last few seasons, so we'll see how they go on.
And a good test for them tonight, coming up against a French pack that looks to have plenty of power in there.
Yeah, there is, and you can just see on that impact the amount of force that's going through. It's just dropped down, so they'll have a reset, and that's what you do in first few scrums. You're just trying to work out your opposition, find out what their sort of tactic is, and getting used to each other. But, you know, traditionally, whenever you play against a France team, they've always got a great front five, very physical and aggressive, so you have to match that. That's what I'd expect to see from the Royal Navy women tonight.
The referee just looks to reset and make sure everything's in order. And Parnaby with the put in, and a good shove for the French there. But the penalty for the Royal Navy.
Yeah, the French side was standing up. They're really easy for the referee to see. Loose head prop to lay up, just standing up there. Maybe she didn't feel comfortable in that, but really great opportunity now for the Royal Navy. Looks like they're going to kick for posts.
Early opportunity to get those points on the board and push home that very early advantage. And putting Marine Nationale Féminine under pressure there, the Royal Navy, right from the kick-off, of course, with that knock-on. And winning the penalty from that scrum. And Jess Bryan in the number 8 shirt. It's just been pulled a little bit. So the score remains 0-0 in the opening minutes of this match in Havant. Do let us know, of course, this evening, wherever you're watching from, be it down the road in Havant on the south coast or indeed around the world. Always love to hear from you. And please do send in your comments. As the extent of that wind has been made very clear with that ball hanging and almost moving backwards as it spun end over end.
Yeah, and that's a great take from Bryan, and she actually bowled off one of her own players, McLaughlin, there to get it back. But great carry, allowing Royal Navy to get ball out to Dixon.
Yeah, good hands there as Dixon distributes to Douglas, but referee just saying a couple of knock-ons there first by the French. And there'll be another scrum for the Royal Navy. And do let us know. BFBS Forces News YouTube channel. And indeed Rocky Clark on Instagram, Rocky Clark _1. And let us know where you're watching from.
Yeah, if you've got any shout-outs as well, or something you'd like that you've seen, just let us know. We'll get those shout-outs out.
Great having your company today for this wonderful doubleheader. Free kick for Marine Nationale. And Froger just looking to get the ball back there.
You don't often see that. She's been penalised for an early foot up. Zadis. They're under a little bit of pressure, but France have to stay down. But they got the opportunity now for some big carries.
Well, it's tapped and Squillard crashing into Royal Navy defence there. And they earn a penalty. Marine Nationale, they take it quickly. And looking to ship that out. The big number 8, the captain, Ripin. What can she do through the gaps that are opening up in the midfield? And big power there from the French forwards. Trying to come through as it's shipped out. And that's a nice angle there from Bergeron. Royal Navy scrambling just to make that contact. As they go the other way this time. And the ball just recovered there, juggling act really behind the back, but she's moving through Squillard again. And another good carry there from the hooker. Oh, and that's lovely hands. And it's the tight head prop who makes the line. And the first try of the match. Manon Leduc, Marine Nationale Feminine. And utilising that territory and storming through the middle. And getting those 5 points on the board. Very impressive from their pack, Rocky.
Fantastic carries. It all came from that quick tap penalty where we saw Suyurat carry really well. She got him on the front foot, and then it was Ripon who'd just bowled through, got rid of a couple of the Navy centres. She got something against them, bowled them, and then went back, zipped back across the field, and then Leduc goes over, barnstorming run in the sunshine, takes her team 5 points up.
Melissa Bergeron just shaping up for the conversion attempt here. Samantha Alderson says, can always tell it's Navy v French when it gets this physical early on. As you say, that's a mark of a lot of French sides. Alderson, who also says, good luck to the Navy Blue, watching from Scotland. Got it at Campy there, as Bergeron's attempt just pushed, or pulled wide. And the wind there really testing the French team. But the visitors have a 5-0 advantage in the early moments of this game. Just over 5 minutes played here in Havant RFC. And the Navy, of course, will be looking to utilise that wind advantage too. We've seen several occasions here in which that ball's just stopped, really, in midair. Almost come back on the players, but, well, Squillard again, showing her power. A low centre of gravity coming into contact. Oh, and up quickly there, the Navy, but this allowed Marine Nationale backs to get some space out in the left wing. And have earned the penalty as well. It was somewhat of a high challenge there.
Royal Navy with too many penalties given away, high tackle, and that's the problem when you're letting your opposition get on that front foot, playing fast, you're getting off balance and you just try and grab out. But now you obviously have to get that tackle height down. But again, Ryden with those massive runs again, just bowling people for fun. Maybe she was a pinball machine in a previous life.
Now Squillard gets ready for the line out on the Royal Navy's 22. So under pressure again, the blue shirts, as the ball comes out. And the backs come on from fairly deep. And, well, it's nice lines here from the red shirts. And Le Saulnier almost coming through. Fullback now, Zoe Sage in that scrum cap. Couldn't quite do the rest. But moving up in support, and that's thunderous run again. And inching ever closer to that line. And good Royal Navy defence. But it's, well, it's phase after phase here, and eventually the try scored. Second for Marine Nationale Feminine. And that pressure just telling once more.
Yeah, just all coming from that quick phase play. They're swinging the ball out wide. They're keeping it alive. Doesn't matter whether they've got a 2 on their back or a 13. They are shifting this ball. They're just moving the point of contact. Really, really difficult to defend.
Yeah, barely 10 minutes played yet. And the Navy under the cosh. An opportunity to go 12-0 up here with the conversion attempt from Melissa Bergeron.
A couple of standout tackles coming in from Swain and Sinclair, who just getting around the park really well from the Navy. They just need to get the ball.
Missed the first, but no mistake this time from Bergeron. And the Marine Nationale Feminine go 12-0 up here at Havant RFC. And the Royal Navy marching back to the halfway line. There's a lot of work to do here so far. And of course, another impact of those physical contact areas is the longer that goes on, the more tiring that gets as well throughout the match. And play can open up after a period of time. Good tempo at the breakdown though for the French, and that ball cleared by Morgan Garro, but only as far as the Royal Navy number 15, the fullback Jasmine Abel, but it's back on the French side. And the Royal Navy earned the penalty.
So just coming off their feet. But again, we're seeing French Navy, the front row, getting through some serious work. So you are, again, carrying really well, just a support. Not clinical.
Dixon putting that out there. Yeah, that you've got to be pinpoint and accurate with your defence when they're asking those questions of you, right?
Absolutely, got to be really accurate in this breakdown. 4-man line out, opted for the Navy. They've won it.
And the ball comes back. And Jess Bryan looking to utilise her power there. As the back's line out through Dixon. That's a bit loose, but it's gathered in. And a bit of space here. Abigail Ashby on the right wing tonight. And moving it through the hands. But that ball just spilled forward a little bit. Referee comes back for the penalty. Advantage was being played.
Those lovely hands from Brightwell out to Ashby on that far wing. Navy just need to play with some tempo. Just try and keep it fast, keep it in the 15s, get it out wide. They don't want a power game against the French, because we've seen they're pretty big shifters.
Yeah, Marine Nationale Feminine would not mind an arm wrestle, one would think. But Navy's line out here. An opportunity just outside the French 22. Couple of decoy jumpers there, but the ball eventually comes out. And Bryan to Dixon. Oh, and the French up very quickly, that defensive line. But it remains in the blue hands for the moment. Lovely from Sinclair. Dixon shipping it out to Erin Hart on the left wing, and that ball's just spilled and knocked on, in fact.
Dixon must be made of steel. She's just had 2 late hits on her. She's like the Terminator. She just keeps getting back up.
Well, the Australian cricketers always talk about targeting the skipper. You try and target the skipper and break a team down. Well, Dixon's been, as you say, under the pump a little bit here, but absolutely fine to carry on, and she'll know that presents an opportunity as well for her teammates.
Yeah, really resilient player. Really good with ball in hand, just trying to get ball out wide. Obviously, she's got a red wall flying up at her. She's under huge amount of pressure, but doing really well so far. But taking one for the team, as they say, taking a player out and getting a few little late charges at her. So French Navy scrum, massive scrum.
Huge shove there from Marine Nationale, and Dixon doing well in defence this time. Just stopping Bergeron from smoking through the gap. And right side centre midfield partner Le Saulnier going through, and Sage at 15. And being tested out wide here, the Royal Navy. The French doing their best to show that they have multi-dimensions to their attack, and that was Audrey Balleroy, the open side, bouncing off a few Navy players. And they gain more ground, the French.
Brave tackle from Douglas there in at guard. Place she probably doesn't want to be, but seems to be all the backs making those tight tackles now.
The ball comes out again, once again for the French backs. Dixon doing well to try and telegraph and read that. Oh, but wonderful pace on the outside. That's brilliant stuff from Ines Kotsis. And just bundled into touch, a brilliant covering tackle as well. A searing pace there, and equally good in defence.
Brilliant by
excellent.
able to come across. She was more than able to get through, make that tackle superb. And it was Kotis who'd broken down the wing. We thought she was in for a certain try. Little stutter step goes through, but that build-up play from Froger out to Morel, blindside flanker, just the ability to shift the ball wide, really impressive by the French.
And as a fullback, that's what you train for all week in defence. Those moments, absolutely brilliant, you say. Loving the pun as well. You're not quite here all week, Rocky Clark, but do appreciate the pun. But it Kotsis backing herself on the outside there. Just, yeah, some gas to burn.
Serious gas, yeah. Real danger woman on that wing. But we saw the danger earlier from the French scrum. Armchair ride from Ryden.
Yeah, a lot of work to do in defence for Erin Hart out on that wing. And Nathan Jones says, go on, Erin H. Have fun on your debut. From your coaches and fellow players back home at KCRFC, we are so proud of you. So wonderful message there for the Navy's left wing.
Yeah, so feel free to drop us some messages. You can contact me on Instagram, RockyClark_1, or BFBS Forces News. Let us know your thoughts.
Sapinette says, allez les Français, as are many in this crowd as well. Of course, the men's players who are playing after this match and are here to watch too. A good attacking position here for Marine Nationale, and a good shift from the forwards once again. And that's wonderful. And Sage there, the fullback on the right wing, and finishing off that try. Beautiful bit of pressure there from the French once again, and the points to show for it.
Lovely play, just coming from that really strong scrum, almost too strong for their number 8. And then the ball gets played as it starts to wheel. Froger gets it out to Sage, who just dives over her in the corner. Easy try for her.
The result of all those gains from the pack in midfield. And the space just opening out on the flanks, on the wings, as the Navy throws more players into those breakdown areas. And a trickier attempt, this one, of course, for Melissa Bergeron. Almost on the touchline. Which she'll give it a go, and yeah, not to be. But nevertheless, Marine Nationale Feminine, 17 points to 0 up. Just under 20 minutes played in this game. And the Royal Navy yet to get on the scoreboard as they jog back to the halfway line. Rose Dixon marshalling her troops and just trying to get straight back at it here, the Royal Navy.
Yeah, they've just got to try and slow down the French ball. But it's a difficult kick for them to take. Oh, brilliant! Navy have turned it over.
Fantastic stuff there from the women in blue. Another loose kick. And Brian there is trying to fend off the first tackler. Looking to go blind this time. And good from Rowan Sinclair. And French defence proving good once again, earning themselves the penalty. And Sinex 1967 says, "Go Rowan Sinclair, play well, love mum and dad," up in Lossiemouth in Murray. There's lovely messages coming through. Keep them coming, of course. And we'll do our best to read those out. But that's a lovely take and an absolutely thumping challenge. What? That is, well, I think she's fine and getting up from that okay. But a lovely bit of speed there, but met with a brick wall. Jasmine Abel.
That was a beautiful run right until she ran into a brick wall. But all the crowd made the oof noise. Oh,
one you can feel.
Yeah, she's going to feel that for a few days, but fair play. She got back up and back into it, so she must have bones of steel.
And the French once again with possession. And Tena Talaha, the loose head prop, doing great work there to get themselves over the 22 line. And it comes out again. And it's moved out. The tight head this time, Manon Leduc. What can she do? Finding herself with more space there on the wing. And taking it speed by Ripin, the captain. And dangerously close they are for the Royal Navy's liking, but that's lovely. But referee said that it went forward.
Yeah, I think that
Go
was
back for the penalty.
Leduc carrying really hard, big tight head prop, like a bowling ball going down there. And I tell you what, Brightwell was so brave. She's literally stuck her head in the spokes there as she went in and made the tackle. Then a lovely, massive tackle from Swain and Addis, putting in that big shot to keep him out. And then thankfully for the Navy, a forward pass brings them back to the infringement that had already happened. Take two, but they've used one of their lives.
Garrow looks to put this into touch, getting as much territory as they can. But it's relentless from the French at this point in the first half. Phase after phase, wave after wave. And as you say, the Royal Navy.
That's a song, isn't it? Wave after wave, isn't it?
And no one needs to hear my voice, singing voice anyway.
They'll sing for us later if we're lucky. But yeah, exactly. It's literally like you're trying to cross a motorway, isn't it? These ladies are putting it in a shift.
That's good. It's recovered by the Navy. Taking the ball there. And some lovely handoffs as well. But, can they keep possession and protect that ball well enough in the face of the jackling from the French? And they've earned the penalty as well, the Royal Navy. A chance to get this further down the field and get themselves out of dodge.
Yeah, really good carries by the Navy. Honeybell with the first one, Swain and Brian, and then they're just earning the penalty. This is good from the Royal Navy.
And that ball hasn't found touch as of yet. And it's gathered in. And Sage there, stepping beautifully. Oh, and a very high challenge.
Oh,
Rowan Sinclair coming in there. And Sinbind as well for that. Referee showing the yellow card. And, well, that was at pace as well.
Yeah, I thought we'd change sports to WWE then. It was a proper clothesline, wasn't it? But, yeah, referee, no thought about that. Hand to pocket straight away. So
she can have no complaints.
No.
She knows what she did. And
No.
off for 10 minutes. And Royal Navy down to 14.
That's what we talked about. When it's so fast and you're just trying your hardest to try and stem the flow, that's when you get caught out. You just try and get across, but your body position isn't low enough, and yeah, she just stuck an arm out. But it was, yeah, it was quite a big hit, to be fair.
Discipline when you're on the back foot gets even tougher. But the Navy have it again. That's moved out to Brightwell.
She's really got around the park. She's putting a shift in today. Carried well, defended well. Boom! Look at that handoff as well. Swain, I think.
Laker Swain, who's currently without her flanker partner in the back row. Rowan Sinclair just off for 10 minutes. A beautiful handoff. What looked like a beautiful handoff. And Jasmine Abel, who's been busy tonight as well.
Got some great feet, dancing feet. Might see her on Strictly. Another big handoff from Swain. Took 3 of them in. Now they need to play. Quick ball. But Leduc's got her hands on it. But it's just... referee's getting annoyed. Not saying that they're releasing.
You've always got to be careful when you're challenging those. When you're the defender of those handoffs. Very easily go to the face. But yeah, the referee just speaking to Marine Nationale skipper Clémence Ripin. Rose Dixon has the ball tucked under her left arm.
I thought he was tempted by the pocket. He kind of made that movement and then maybe thought better of it. But great opportunity here for the Royal Navy. Kicking to corner.
And that ball has just found touch. It didn't go out in the full, but fumbled backwards, really. And that has gone out. So a wonderful attacking opportunity here. A chance for the Navy to get on the board. Just around 25 minutes played here at Havant RFC. Great to have you with us wherever you may be around the world. And here it comes. And gathered in. And Brian powering that forward. A wonderful rolling maul and a try for the Royal Navy. They're on the scoreboard. And that pressure told they may be a woman down at the moment. But I tell you what, that's brilliant from Brian.
Superb play. Absolutely fantastic. Steam train coming through. Just kept it tight. That rolling maul, real weapon for them. But that was, you know, the hard carries, little bit of indiscipline from the French Navy. Actually, that person going down has galvanised the Royal Navy, hasn't it?
It really has, and you heard the volume there as well from the majority of the crowd here supporting the team in Navy. And Brian, the try scorer, also with a chance for 2 more points. And trying to keep the ball on the tee with some of that wind might not be the easiest thing as well. Almost takes me back to those days when, and those times, it still happen. You get a player lying down horizontal on the ground with their fingertip on the ball, just keeping things steady. But she looks okay at the moment. Well, that ball's curling round. Can it make it? Not quite. It's just pushed a little from Brian. Past the right-hand post, but nevertheless, 17 points to 5, the French lead. A lovely rolling maul. Good work from the depleted Royal Navy forwards.
Some really good carries from the Royal Navy. Just getting their team on that front foot, earning those penalties. Been really good. Brightwell going well. Addis, Swain, Brian especially.
That ball's collected in eventually. Brian again.
She's a big woman, isn't she? She takes a lot of people to tackle her, and you know they have to utilise that. She's going to get through quite a few carries for the Navy, but that'd be the game plan I had.
There's that handoff again.
Brilliant, strong Swain again.
And good hands there from Honeybell. Out to Dixon. And Dixon just turning on the taps a little bit there. Half through. Taken down by Bergeron.
Just maybe a hint of a high tackle there, sliding up on Dixon, but nothing's been awarded.
You mentioned that resilience from Dixon. It's been clear to see throughout this first half so far.
The Terminator gets back up.
And just a few bodies there collapsing on that ball, but we are good to go. And just finding a bit of French traffic there. The Royal Navy. Oh, and a little half break there from Parnaby.
Great snipe. Just needs to get quick ball off of this now. So they've got the front foot, but then it's a little bit slow to utilise it. You want to get that team, when they're retreating, and you get those little half breaks, then pile the pressure on. That's exactly what they've been doing to them.
Brian there with the big boot. I think that. Halfway up those cedar trees on the far side. And right into touch again. But yeah, what a bonus to have a number 9 who, as you say, is able to sniff around the side of those breakdowns, spot any little gap, and always be on the lookout. And it keeps defences as well guessing. It keeps them less confident of their positions too.
Yeah, because if the defence flies up, that leaves that little gap to go through. But we've just seen Brian kick the ball out, and obviously it's gone straight out, so they've had to come back for the line out. So that's a territory loss there for them.
Oh, and that's gone long and taken in by the Royal Navy.
Honeybell with it.
And Parnaby looks to go blind, but is shunted back. And the referee says that a couple of knock-ons, first by Marine Nationale Féminine, so it'll be a Royal Navy put into the scrum.
Not necessarily an advantage, is it, for the Royal Navy, where they've got a player off and they're under pressure in the scrum. But we'll see what they can do. You just want to get it in and out, just make sure it's stable before your 9 puts the ball in, otherwise you'd be flying backwards as the ball's coming in. So a little trick for those who are ever under pressure, just make sure it's stable. Some teams like to go early and carry on without getting that settling period sorted out.
Well, they've done reasonably well so far, the Royal Navy, to negate the disadvantage they have at the moment with Sinclair off in the sin bin. But that's lovely work from Dixon. And, well, under a lot of pressure there, Jasmine Abel trying to come on to that, but French defence right up in her face. Ref goes back for a free kick. The Royal Navy, several kicking options this evening. Of course, Jess Bryan taking those pops at the post. And Rose Dixon now with the ball in her hand. Put that into touch. But it hasn't done so, however. A knock-on by the French. Bit of a reprieve, really, there for the Royal Navy. And that swirling wind stymieing any real kicking strategy from both sides.
Navy were able to get the ball out the last scrum, even though it was under pressure, so a quick strike from the hooker is required. Then Parnaby to get her catching gloves on, get the ball, get it away, give it to Dixon. Get it out to the speedsters. We've seen some great carries already by Abel, Ashby, Hart. Just getting through some good work there.
Parnaby with the ball, ready for another push in. It's been fascinating so far this half. French 17-5 up as the Royal Navy move it through the hands once again, and a nice bit of switching there in midfield, but that ball has gone forward. And just that pressure, Rocky, as well, when you have defenders flying up in your face and you're taking the ball relatively flat too.
Yeah, it's when somebody gets in your eye line, or if you're about to catch it and you get woman and ball, or you get somebody in your eye line, it just makes you take your eyes off. It's difficult to take.
We spent a fair bit of time trying to set scrums in the last 10 minutes. But the Navy will be relatively happy, one would suspect, given the sin binning of Rowan Sinclair. Managed to try and stave off as much of that pressure as possible.
They were going for a penalty, but ball had to be used.
Oh, and that's another good angle there. Wonderful stuff from Le Saulnier. Oh, and that's brilliant from her midfield partner, Melissa Bergeron. Another try for Marine Nationale Feminine. And the backs having some fun too.
Le Saulnier with that initial break, fantastic speed, gassing round and then just finding the ball back inside. She could have gone on the outside, but just that little cheat line from Bergeron, just impressive play. They obviously, I mean, you'd assume they play together regularly to know how each of them plays. They know who's going to be the offloaders, who's going to be on the inside shoulder, outside shoulder. This is a really impressive display of rugby here.
Yeah, having multiple options anytime you make even a half break. Well, the tremendous pressure there in the Royal Navy showing as Bergeron eyes up an extra 2 points for her side. 22-5 it stands at the moment. And just bouncing off the post, but making it through there from Bergeron. The kick is good. And 24 points to 5. The Marine Nationale Feminine lead the Royal Navy here at Havant RFC. Just over 5 minutes to go until half-time in this international fixture. And the ball put up there by Douglas. And the French looking to play from deep as well, which makes it very exciting.
Brilliant chase from Parnaby. I'd say there was even a touch of crossing there, but referees let it go.
Oh, and that's lovely pressure from Brightwell. And the French looking to clear that through Garrow, but the blue wall this time coming up quickly. And cleared with the other foot. And Parnaby looking to take that in. It looked like a potential knock-on, but the referee seems to be okay with it. And a bit of fervour here as the Royal Navy sense another opportunity to get ball going forward, but that's a good counter-rucking there from the French. The ball did go forward though, a bit loose, and an opportunity for a put in for the Royal Navy, and a little bit of a frisson, shall we say, a little bit of something there between the sides, but just tensions running, and both sides just reminding each other they're in the contest.
Love that little bit of friction, bit old school I am. Love that. Brian not taking a backward step. There was that counter-ruck. She didn't enjoy it. Ryden just came and squared up, but referees having none of it. Navy definitely should have used that ball a lot quicker. They had people anchoring over the top of that breakdown, and France just saw that opportunity to counter some high body positions and make a mess of it. They just needed somebody to get in quicker and flick the ball away. Tempo is going to really help the Navy going forward.
Yeah, referee just having a word with both captains and saying, we've played in a great spirit so far. Let's not have anything silly. And both sides just having a bit of a breather and getting reset for the scrum. Parnaby with the ball. The Royal Navy pack just shunting up against their French opposition. And it wheels around, and the French win the penalty. It's very good from their forwards once more.
Yeah, they're very strong in scrummaging. Just question whether there's a little bit of standing up going in there or wheeling around the corner, but I'm not in there, so I can't tell for sure, but certainly be asking questions if I was the Navy.
Another French line out. Anaël Suillard. Just hearing the calls from her fellow forwards. And the throw comes in. And it's gone long. And Honeybell looking to do her best to take that in. And the ref saying it'll be a put in instead for the Royal Navy after that knock-on.
So if I was Addis there, I'd just be planting in the sea. Can you watch out for standing up, sir? But you can imagine I was a bit of a chirper in the scrum at loose head prop. Probably quite annoying for the refs. But even so, planting a seed. Just looks like it's whipping round on that loose head side.
They always talk about playing the ref, don't they? And that's, I guess, managing the ref as well, as you say, with some words of information. But wow, that's been shunted right back there by Marine Nationale Feminine.
That was incredible. That's stuff you love to be involved in as a front rower.
And the chip put through there. And just getting round the Royal Navy. But space opening up for the backs and looking to utilise that with the boot. Referee coming right back. But the metres gained there from that French shove was phenomenal. And that's, well, that's spilled a little bit. But once again, go through the hands of the front row. And the Navy coming away with it in defence. And Dixon looking to clear. And the back three waiting eagerly for that ball. And Sage again wearing that scrum cap. And that ball looks to have gone a little forward, but the ref seems to be playing on. Oh, and a wonderful cover tackle coming through there. Jess Bryan, it looked like.
Jess Bryant on fire.
She's everywhere.
She's going to need her own fan club. I'll be first to sign up. Incredible player, loving this work. But there was definitely, I've got to say it, a big forward pass from the French side, but that was missed. But a big tackle from Bryan gets the turnover.
And the charge down.
Oh dear.
Royal Navy looking to clear this as quickly as they can. Going through the hands of the forwards, lining up in their pods. The French still smelling danger here. And an opportunity for them as it comes out to the left wing again. Kotsis, who showed so much pace on her opposite wing. And fairly quick ball as well. Out it comes. And Bergeron. And gets the offload away. Kotsis once more. Can she find her way around Abel? Not quite there. Good tackle from the fullback. Ah, more French power. Talaha there. And the skipper, Ripin, reaching out for the line, and another try for Marine Nationale Feminine. Brilliant work once again from the skipper. Both number 8s have been busy tonight. And Ripin will be delighted with her work there. It's adding those 5 points. Reaching out, and they'll be very happy with their conversion rate as well. When they get in the zone, that red zone people like to talk about, well, they're very clinical as well, Rocky.
They certainly are. A really organised, well-coached, well-drilled outfit, but with the ability just to play from anywhere, keep the ball alive, shift it into the space and then flood through the channels. We saw early off the quick tap that referee might have called back, might have not, because it was dropped, but he deemed it was okay, so played on. And he just had the front row lining up just to carry and get their hands on the ball. And one of the big reasons a team does so well is how many touches their front row and second row make in a game. So if you get more than your opposition, it's likely you're going to do pretty well.
Well, that's the end of the first half. Referee blows his whistle. The teams run off towards the tunnel to head back into the changing rooms. And it's Marine Nationale Feminine with the advantage. 29 points to 5 they lead after a brilliant first half of rugby here at Havant RFC. We'll be right back after half-time with plenty more great action, including the men's match later this evening as well. And a quick summary from what you've seen so far, Rocky. Seems like French dominance certainly up front.
Yeah, the French pack are really, really impressive, and I've seen some great interlinking with their backs. They're just getting on the front foot, just shifting the ball to the wider channels in their offloading game, as well as some of their players like Ripon with the big carries, big fend, getting on the front foot. Leduc and Soyar just playing so well, but it's not said. The Navy are doing pretty well as well. They're coming back into it. They had probably first 10, 15 minutes. They're under pressure, but they got back into it with a driven maul. They just need to do more of it, but play with more tempo. But certainly we've seen some individuals stand up. They need to now play as a team rather than individuals, but promising.
Well, we wait with anticipation for the second half. Live, of course, with us on BFBS Forces News YouTube channel amid a very busy period of live sport. And not the only rugby union sides that have been in action over the past week. The British Army as well, who have been very busy with their games as everyone prepares for inter-service rugby. And we'll have a look at some of the highlights from that action over the past week.
The British Army welcome their French counterparts to Aldershot for their annual showdown. Amongst their ranks, the returning ex-England international Simisa Ropandaguni, following his spell playing rugby across the Channel and now running out for Doncaster. The home side wasted little time before breaching the French defence. The quick feet of fullback Solo Radianarova saw him step his way to a converted try with just minutes on the clock. But the visitors hit back almost immediately. Having gained ground from the restart, the burly French forwards drove towards their hosts' try line. Quick ball and a couple of failed attempted tackles, and the French were in for an unconverted score. Keen to play at a high tempo, Army scrum half Mikey McDonald went on one of his trademark bursts. The ball was quickly sent along the line to the lurking Dylan Morris. In just his second start for his service, the speedy second row sprinted in for the Army's second converted try of the contest and put the men in red 14-5 up. By now, the Army were in the ascendancy and continued to work their way past would-be tacklers. And it was their fleet-footed line-out specialist who was catching the eye. Run, Morris, run! And he duly delivered under the posts for another converted try. With the French frustrated as they failed to break through the British barricade, they let their discipline slip. Unseen by the referee, it took the assistant referee to step in. A swinging French arm to the head of Army prop Nathaniel Titchard-Jones left the man in the middle, Tom Evans-Jones, no option but to send the culprit off for an early shower. The hosts were quick to make the most of their extra man early in the second half. Again, the ball made its way to the wing, where Imi Korowale was waiting. The former Newcastle player goose-stepped his way past his man before accelerating in for an unconverted try. With Army confidence sky high, they were prepared to run from deep inside their own half. Rugby offloaded a pass to Radiana Rover, who in turn found Connor O'Reilly. With the crowd on their feet, they saw Morris complete his hat-trick with the pick of his tries. Trailing 33 points to 5, the French suddenly sparked into life, as for once the home side defence was found wanting. Rather like the parting of the Red Sea, the visitors exploited the yawning gap for a converted try. Unfortunately for the French, that score was just a momentary flash in the pan, and normal service quickly resumed as the resurgent Reds added a 6th try. O'Reilly buffeted his way towards his opponent's line. The ball was recycled and Oni Miyagi crashed over from close range. This fixture slots in nicely for the Army ahead of the Inter-Services Championship, and hat-trick hero Morris was given pitch-side plaudits when he was replaced late on, with his hopes of now playing against the Navy and Air Force boosted by his performance. There was still time for the Army to power past a beleaguered French pack once more. Apeli Kotabalavu rumbling over the line for a converted try and help his side to a handsome 47 points to 12 victory.
Yeah, Dylan has been impressive. 5 and or 6 really. Great engine. He did a really good job when he came on and started his first game against the Police back in January, and fully deserved his cap today at a start. And what a great asset he is. With that engine he's got, and finished 3 great tries off. And then Rocco coming back in, which is great. Back in the country now, clearly after being on sojourn in France for a couple of years. I think it's the first cap since 2019. So his experience, the value he brings to the team, not just on game day clearly, but in the camps as well, is brilliant.
Earlier in the day, the British Army women eclipsed the French Army women in the first meeting between the teams. Having camped themselves close to the visitors' line, home side pressure eventually told, and French resistance was broken, and Millie Williams flopped in for a converted try. Caitlin Fraser impressed in her first capped appearance for the Army, scooting in at the corner. The winger did well to cling onto the ball before rounding the defence for an unconverted try. A third Army try early in the second half extended the home side's advantage. There was no stopping Manu Komatai as she bulldozed her way over for a 17-0 lead. The French hit back with 2 converted tries of their own, the first coming from close range. And a second score set up a tense final few minutes of the match. This time the visitors made the most of a tired Army defence, but the converted effort was the final score of the game.
Yeah, it's always good to beat the French. We usually play the French Navy, so to play the French Army for the first time is a fixture we hope we can keep and maintain. So yeah, it's always a good game against the French.
So double delight for the British Army as the women and men take the spoils and enjoy confidence-boosting victories with the Inter-Services Championship looming. Julian Evans, BFBS Forces News, Aldershot.
All eyes on RAF Honington for one of the biggest forces fight nights of the year. Inter-Services crowns were on the line, with the Army looking to retain the team title against their RAF challengers, with the Navy failing to fill out a team. Bout 1 saw the featherweights in action as the Army's Fusilier Matty Calderwood took on air recruit Jaden Johnson from the RAF. It was a testing battle, with both men getting their punches in, but the split decision went Johnson's way.
Elite boxing champion, boxing out of the blue corner, Jaden Johnson.
The women were in action next, as leading physical trainer Billy Matthews and captain Rachel Rose looked to impress any GB or England coaches watching on. It was Matthews who hit harder, dodged quicker and ultimately wowed the judges for a unanimous decision victory.
leading PT Billy Matthews.
Yeah, I'm really pleased. This is our third one. She beat us the first time and then I've beat her twice since. So yeah, nice sweep for us now.
The wins for you does mean you're now NAC qualified. So what's next in your boxing career?
Yeah, so we want to win a title really. Like that's what you enter for, isn't it? You want to win a national title. So that's the next step, and then from there I'd like to get a vest, an England vest, and then after that it just is what it is, isn't it? We'll see what happens.
Private Dylan Swales had the job of getting the Army off the mark in the welterweight bout. Blaine Lambert was the Inter-Services champion of 2024 in the 71 kilogram category, but the drop down in weight didn't bring the required success. Swales taking the win in a split decision.
It's exciting for both boxers. Corporal Aaron Devine in the blue corner for the Royal Air Force.
The light middleweight bout saw former Scottish champion and current RAF team captain Corporal Aaron Devine.
Hello and welcome back to this fantastic fixture between the Royal Navy women and their French counterparts, Marine Nationale Feminine at Havant Rugby Football Club. We've just witnessed a fantastic first half and very strong performance so far from the French side, leading 29 points to 5 as the teams come back out onto the pitch for this second half. And a crowd that grows ever bigger by the minute has enjoyed what they've seen so far. The first of 2 matches in this double-header today on the South Coast. And welcome back, Rocky Clark. Great to have you along with me for this second half. Very strong from the French so far, but the Navy with a couple of golden moments there. And they've had some opportunities as well towards the end of that first half, so looking to build.
Yeah, they certainly are. And they've got inches into the game, but they just need to make sure that the phases count when they get that opportunity. Keep hold of ball and try and earn a penalty, kick it down to the corner. They've got a really strong maul, so I'd like to see more of that.
Jad Bedjil, French number 14 there, just carrying the ball and parrying it really into touch. And so the Royal Navy start the half with a line out of their own. Rebecca Addis, their hooker. And Locks and back rows sizing each other up in the line out. And, well, it's spilled a bit by the Navy. And Anaëlle Souillard takes it in before Florian Frogier gets it through the hands. It's a very quick ball again. It's very impressive tempo here from the French, starting the second half like the end of the first. And impressive to have so many numbers up in support as Justine Amour takes it forward further. Now into the Navy 22. And Garot, Bergeron, crossfield kick here. But that's red. And looked like it was knocked forward slightly. The ref playing on. French looking to utilise that space out in the right-hand side. And has brilliant stuff from them once more on that right wing. And it's yet another try, setting the tone for the second half. Marine Nationale Feminine. But they're having a look here just to make sure that the player's okay. Touch judge has had an eye on this as well.
First one of the second half, the Marine Nationale.
The medical team's just making sure that she's okay. And clutching her knee there, it looks like. And good hands there with the medics. After she scored that try, right in the corner. And what a way to start the second half for Marine Nationale Feminine.
Just managing to get it through the hands, play the phases. They went for a cheeky crossfield kick. Managed to get it back. It didn't particularly go very far forward, but they managed to get it back. That all-important possession. And just playing so quickly, just made the Royal Navy on the back foot, but in doing so, They have got a player down. He looks in quite a lot of pain.
Hopefully okay for her. A kick not successful, but they lead 34 points to 5. The exact score they won by last year in Havant, and these two teams met in Brittany in France. So a very good start to the second half here for the French. And Suzanne Mealy says, shout out to Yvonne Mealy. Love from Tala, Dublin. And Kay Warner says, come on, Erin. Mum believes in you. So, great shout outs. Keep them coming. BFBS Forces News YouTube channel and Rocky Clark _1 as well on Instagram. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, come and have a chat with us. Get in contact, let us know who you're supporting, who's done stuff well. Lovely fend.
It's good from Abel. Just seeing her options there, trying to utilise that good footwork. But the French have won a penalty again. And they're holding on there, taking it quickly. Oh, and a bustling run from Suillard. And just inches away from the try line. And another one scored. This time, the scrum half also making sure she's okay.
Suillard made that incredible run. Just got pulled down short of the line. Looks like she's got a dead butt cheek. She don't look happy, but she made a 20-30 metre run. And Froger just benefits from that.
And wonderful from the French once more. Began this second half with such vigour and absolutely relentless when they get so close to that try line. They're very clinical and absolutely ruthless here. Bergeron's had plenty of practice at this evening, lining up for another conversion attempt. Oh, well, that's well chased up by the Royal Navy's number 22, Joanna Banks. And a reminder, the challenge is always on for the conversion. Ripin not terribly happy about that. The referee just reminding her that that is fine as the restart goes. And that ball always turning into a spiral kick there in the wind. Taken in by Linda Kassem.
Love the swagger from Banks there as she does that.
That'll be a moment she's looking to re-watch over and over again, I think, as Abel gets that ball just into touch.
Well, got my first message in on Instagram, so thank you. And it's an appreciation for a tight head prop. French tight head is a killer in set piece and all over the park in the loose. What a player. Thank you, John Turner. I completely agree with you. Absolutely phenomenal player. Leduc, been around. Been very impressed with Suillard as well, the hooker. Been going really, really well.
No, I can say this as a former back three player, but not enough love for props. So good to see some love there and a wonderful bit of speed from Bergeron in midfield. And a penalty for the Navy, and taken quickly by Rose Dixon. Looking to ship that on her outside shoulder to Sinclair, and handing it back.
Sinclair, who made that vital tackle earlier, just as Suillard has gone through.
Playing advantage and earning the penalty, the Navy. And inching up this field.
What did we say? Tempo works for them. Use your tempo. So that means quick taps, quick play from the line out, extra tip-ons, or I'd even look to play the ball out the back, so you've got a runner that you could tip onto, but somebody in the shadows that you pull the ball out the back to will stop that French defensive line come through. Referee's in the way of the pass now. Brian comes in with a bustling run.
Beautiful from Brian once more. Yeah, they've got to utilise that speed, especially around the fringes. The French perfectly happy, trying to jackal there, but perfectly happy for an arm wrestle. So Royal Navy must try and get things out wide if they can, and be up in support there as well, because those French jackalers are very quick to it.
Great run again. Brightwell, bright future, carrying very, very well. Talked about her work rate, just getting around, doing the unseen bits, but that really important carry. Just getting her team on the front foot, and I'm really enjoying this from the Navy, how they're shifting the point of attack. The French want to make hits, we've seen that. They've absolutely crucified a few people. But if you can shift it away, just ask those extra questions, that's when there's those little seams just able to get through, those little half breaks. Can they go quick?
Well tapped by the Navy, and Brightwell once again up to the line fairly quickly. And fairly low pass there, but gathered in by Yvonne Mealy rather nicely. Good hands from the lock.
Yeah, Mealy going well as well, doing loads of work.
Oh, taken beautifully there. That's Sinclair again.
And Dixon again annihilated, but gets back up. She's on Terminator 6 at the moment.
Yeah, literally taking one for the team. Rose Dixon once again, but realises once again that that puts her teammates into space if she can absorb some of that pressure from those red shirts. And looking to move that infield a bit there, Douglas. Just trying to soak up some of that very fast defence.
Just need that ball a little bit quicker, but the tip-ons, the quick passes is working. But now it's just taking them a little bit too long to organise. So you've got that French line looking to make a big hit.
Oh, it's a bit messy there. But Joanna Banks, the star of that conversion challenge. But they're being shunted back. Looks as if it's been knocked on there from the French, however. And the referee puts his arm out. And after all that, it'll be a Royal Navy scrum.
Right, so some real positives for the Royal Navy. They're really good running lines. They're running onto the ball a lot harder, faster. Half the time they've got better tempo. But then their body positions in the ruck are a little bit high, and the French are gunning for them. So they are looking to see where their head height is. If their head height is low, they're leaving the ruck, they're not interested. If their arms are long and their head is high, they're trying to get through and drive through underneath the head, through the arms to drive and counter up, which is what they did really well there. But just unfortunately for them, one of their players knocked it on as they went to pick it up. But an area that the Navy need to work on is getting really low. Just give a tiny little gap so you're legal, so you're not sealing off. I think they need Rocky Clark to go and do a coaching session, don't they?
You see you getting excited about that prospect. But that's, well, Brian again looking to tidy up here. That's a lovely handoff as well.
And out
lovely
the back
offload
as well.
Lovely offload. Seeing more and more of those in World Rugby these days. There's lovely passes out the back. And Swain getting carted backwards. And Dixon doing her duty in protecting that ball. As Parnaby comes out with it. And well, that's the very low pass there. That's not great service. And putting pressure on her teammate.
Right, so for those of you who don't know, there's been a knock-on and then one of the Navy players is in front and touched the ball, therefore it's a penalty, you're offside. So just an honest mistake, but you can't touch the ball. If you're in front of the ball, even though it comes into your hands, you have to leave it, otherwise you're going to be penalised.
Sloppy, and when coming up against a side that's got so much momentum in this match, well, just gives them more opportunities. As we see Linda Kassem get back to her feet. The French lock, that's good to see. Bit of medical attention, but all seems fine.
We got a friend of the show tuning in, Helen Richardson. Hell's Bells sent a message. She's hoping that we've got some chocolate in the comms box, and I have to say I've got some mini Jaffa cakes, so don't worry, we're having our sugar hit. So Hell's Bells, thank you. My old manager at England watching on, so I hope you're well, and it's a new job for you, so keep being awesome. She said say hi, by the way.
Great to hear from you, Hells, as the French march forward here towards that try line. Oh, and that's another surge from their forwards. And have they got enough this time? Still just held back from the Navy. Referee ducking down to get a good look at that. They seem to...
Looks held up to me.
It's been held up. And good work from the Royal Navy defence. Just a few opinions floating around there between the two sets of players, but preferring a bit of distance eventually. Yes, the thing well, among several things that's great about Hells is their attention to detail with making sure that everyone's fed and watered and plenty of energy. So we appreciate that, Hells, and good to have you watching along.
Great defence by the Royal Navy. Just got themselves underneath the ball. A few tempers coming up from the French side. Tala'a and Kasem taking umbrage with something that's gone on. All those dark arts that we can't see. Something I used to, and still do, I still play a little bit of rugby here and there for Buckingham Swans, championship side. Get to waddle out on occasion. Rather fun.
With the Swans or the team?
I love carrying, and of course, as a loose head prop, I love scrummaging. Let's hope that doesn't make a meme. I love to scrummage. But there is more to a game, and hopefully you can see that I've got a lot of love for getting the ball wide in the back's hands.
Well, lovely work through the hands there from the French. And it gets out to that right wing. And Royal Navy scrambling once again in defence. But they've earned the penalty. And a reprieve once again for those Navy shirts. 39 points to 5 down as we motor through this second half. Just over 50 minutes played. And French pressure, but Royal Navy resilience.
I think that was Barlow with an extra roll, which of course you can't do this season. So easy one for the referee to penalise. A get out of jail card for the Navy.
Ball high into the trees again. They've made some ground. Still in their 22, the Royal Navy, but getting off that try line, and they'll be delighted with that.
There's a Wonder Woman, Brian, kicking for touch. Is there anything that woman can't do? The ball's up the tree. She's probably going to run up the tree and get it. Superpowers.
Can't imagine tree climbing comes into the training regimes midweek, but you never know.
You never know. It might be an alternative way.
If the door to the gym is locked, they can't get in. Well, that's gone forward off French hands, it seems. And there goes Brian again. And Parnaby looking back to see her clearance options. It comes back, and that's, well, that's not really gone too far at all. And Saj getting the ball out.
Forward, I thought.
To Jad Bidgil. And the referee, the referee seeing that has gone forward.
Yeah, I think that wind is just catching the French a few times. They got away with a few, but that one was quite obvious. But that kick really needed to go to touch. It had the players run through, the Navy run through, and the ball just gets kicked into the middle of the park. If that's caught, that's shifted wide, that's another try. You cannot kick loosely against this team.
Maybe a day for the low driving kicks rather than putting the ball up there with the way the wind is.
I would say so, and obviously my speciality as a kicker. Actually, I have to say I have on occasion done the odd kick when I was in my youth rugby, not as adult rugby. I'd get killed.
Well, that delights me to hear that, Rocky Clark. That you're all well and good. But yeah, it's lovely to take a pop at posts one of these days.
Well, considering I'm running about on about a third of a hamstring, I probably shouldn't nowadays, but I did do the hamstring on a cartwheel once. That wasn't my finest moment.
Taken quickly by Marine Nationale. And moving that out quickly, but spilled forward, Manon Duc, the tight head prop. And we go back to scrum. Spend a lot of time with the scrums at the moment.
It's one of her first mistakes, isn't it, Leduc? She's been everywhere. A little bit quieter in the second half. But a player you certainly want on your team, just getting you go forward ball, and that's so much easier for the backs to play off when they're on the front foot. They've dented that defence, and if they can play quick, which this French Navy team can, they can ask loads of questions, especially for those offloading lines that all of the players have been running. Really, really hard to defend, because you might be able to stop the first person, but if they get that offload, that second wave that comes through is really hard.
Rose Dixon just receiving some treatment there. She's been in the heart of the action and in the middle of that battle all evening. Being targeted by that French defence. Getting up just to make sure she's okay. And thankfully seems so. Absolutely pivotal for her side.
Terminator 8 now. She's back up. Honestly, I think she's made of metal, mate. She is relentless. And if her eyes go red, I'm out of here.
Don't know how many sequels have been made in the last half hour of this game, but yeah, rather brilliant stuff from the resilience of Rose Dixon. And just this game stretches on. Some more players just getting a bit of treatment. Jess Bryan there on the floor, just making sure that her boots are good to go. And she must have covered every square inch of this pitch from kickoff. Great work rate. And Christopher Shaw watching from Wigan. Rugby League time, as he points out, and hoping Royal Navy women manage to claw back a few points. Go Team Navy. A wonderful rugby town that is Wigan. And great to have you watching with us, Christopher. As the French shove the home side back. And a penalty earned for Marine Nationale.
French getting the rewards again at scrum time.
Shaping up to take this forwards. Linda Kassem, number 5. And, well, it's Manon Leduc taking that into contact. That's that tempo, that pace. As the skipper, Ripin, gets ever closer to adding 5 more points. But good pressure there from the Royal Navy. They've earned that put into the scrum. Thumping tackle there. Ball spilled forward.
So, yet again, Leduc on that crashing run. Brightwell sticking her head in the spokes, being really brave, making that tackle. And Bryan with a big hit later on.
Another scrum here. And Parnaby with the put in, just it's wheeling around again there. Oh, and taken on by the French. Oh, and juggled forward. It's another knock on. It saves the Navy this time. But the French hunting in every corner of the park.
Yeah, just so much power coming through that scrum. So we've talked about it. Notoriously, the French are very, very good at scrummaging. Certainly had some of my hardest games against the French, trying to match their power, their aggression, their determination. And it's a good old ding-dongs.
Yeah, no different in this match. The power that they've brought to the shores. And the Navy pack up against it once again. My word, that's a powerful shove from the French. But the Navy.
So that angle, sorry, Simon, that angle, they're just stepping across. So as a team of 8, they're trying to disguise. Everybody's stepping across and they're getting that angle of the shift. So they're going against the Navy sort of side half on, so it's really, really difficult for the Navy to get the strike, and they're having this sort of shove rather than being front on, like head to head front on. They're coming across sort of at their rib angle, so it's really hard to defend. But referee spotted it and penalised for them. It's a clever tactic, and you see so many teams get away with it because the entire pack shifts as one. They take a step, just means that they're going against the weak parts of the opposition.
Brilliant insight there from Rocky Clark. That's something for younger players to take note of as well. And, well, anything that Jess Bryan can do of the park, she'll do with the plum. And we wait to see if that's the same for the line-out, as Rebecca Addis heads off. And Bryan it is with the throw.
Addis has gone well with carries.
And, well, not quite going to plan there. And that's a fairly high challenge, but Navy exerting good defensive pressure there on the opposition. That ball put into good space, but looks like it's going to go into the goal area and dead ball. But the referee is coming back.
I thought that ball was actually going to bounce back up for Bryan, but she just put a massive hit on Leduc, who I don't think has probably been hit that hard that often, because she's normally hitting people, bowling them out her way. But penalty given, it was high.
That ball put into the corner. I think that's just overcooked. And Rosie Staples, the Royal Navy vice-captain, on for Rebecca Addis. Rebecca Addis, as you say, Rocky, great work rate and very busy around the field tonight. And more leadership in the pack there in the form of Rosie Staples, the vice-captain. And just wait for the dropout in the 22 here. It hasn't gone any further than the French skipper, Ripin. Oh, and spotting a bit of space there, but Manon Leduc just not being able to gather that in properly. And yet another scrum.
Yeah, a couple of mistakes creeping in now. Well, Leduc maybe getting a bit tired. She's had a phenomenal first half and gone well. A few tired bodies coming in. But good by the Navy. I've seen it all now. Bryan is stepping up to prop now. This woman is incredible.
She's auditioning in every single position.
Honestly.
She'll be in the back three next.
Yeah, I saw her last year and said they needed to utilise her, so maybe they listened to the comms then, and they certainly have, and she is earning her money today. My goodness.
Well, some of those moments in life when you do a double take and you look down, you look up again, and she's in a different position, Jess Bryan. But very successfully so far in each of those. And Marine Nationale Feminine moving this wide. Good hands there. Oh, looking to get the winger there as well.
Great tackle.
Charlotte Barallon. Oh, and good work. Very, very nice work. And the line's in sight for the open side. But the ref adjudges that to be held up. And desperate work for the Navy on their own try line once more.
I think that was Ashby getting underneath that, and it looked like Balleroy had gone through. Last-ditch tackle attempt saves them again.
That ball, and Charlotte Barallon once again. The Navy gets her quicker this time, and the ball goes out. The side there. And Delphine Martin. Another penalty, and take it very quickly. And hunting these tries of the French. Perilously close there for the Royal Navy. And they spot a bit of space and shipping it out. And wonderfully finished off. Asia Le Saulnier, the outside centre. And their midfield has been wonderful tonight. And just showcasing that once more.
That really was fabulous. They did the quick tap, took it right up to line, and then shifting that ball out wide. They knew they'd narrowed that defence, and just that lovely, huge pass out to Le Saulnier Very good play by the French side. We thought they were starting to get a little bit tired, but then they've just had some Lucasade and cracking on.
They're listening to comms as well, clearly, Rocky.
Well, I like to coach, you know, as well as my my commentary. But this is really good. Like, it's a great game to watch. And we're seeing some really good points from the Navy, but it is a very dominant French Navy side.
Well, a case of deja vu there. Case of deja vu, and it's another 2 points for Bergeron, goal kicker tonight.
So if you want to get any final shout-outs, message me, Rocky_Clark_1 on Instagram. I'm up for reading out who you feel has played well or parts you've enjoyed, or you can contact BFBS Forces News and we'll get your shout-out in before the end.
46 points to 5. The French lead. And well taken in there by Abigail Ashby.
Well, that looks a little high.
Good technique cradling that ball in, but met with stiff resistance.
Ashby's really coming light in this second half. Just getting around the park, try-saving tackles.
Wonderful stuff there, Jess Shaw.
Playing the ball on the floor, surely.
And there we go, penalty. Royal Navy penalty. With just over 10 minutes to go here in Havant.
So just deciding, looks like they're setting up for a quick tap penalty move. Honeybell with a strong carry, getting a team over the gain line. Just need to use tempo, run onto it, girls. Brightwell to Sinclair, knock on.
Oh, that's nice bit of dummying there from Jade Bedjil. And another Marine Nationale penalty. Morgan Garreau. Grey scrum cap. And a nicely judged kick there. As close as she could get to the corner.
So line out. One at the front, looking like they're going to try and shift it across. They're shearing across to the right. Some Navy hands getting in there, but the power looks too much. Scrum half's trying to get the ball out, but she's getting gobbled up into the maul. Looks like they're breaking away, 6 inches away from the try line.
Ever closer there, but well, coming through the middle there, Parnaby. And referee going back for that French penalty. And another fantastic opportunity for those in red.
Number 23, Sam Hill. Both new caps today, right, ladies?
Oh, and that blue wall there from the Royal Navy, just preventing the try on this occasion. And it goes backwards there, and then forwards off the hands. Opportunity just to take a moment to reassess there, the Royal Navy.
Parnaby's defence has been really good, isn't it? She's been flying up, getting in the eye line, and just still relentless, sort of coming up to the last 5 minutes. And the quality of her defensive reads, unlucky with that knock on after they'd knocked on, but certainly forced it. So we talked about Brian. She's gone to front row, from back row. She's kicking, she's line out throwing. would that not be the last place you'd want to go when you're absolutely hanging out your hoop and then you've got to go in the scrum?
Well,
and a really dominant scrum against you as well.
Embodying versatility there, Rocky. And tight head now. Once again. It'll be interesting to find out from her what her favourite position actually is at the end of this match. Might change her mind.
I'm going to guess number 8. I mean, it's just an inkling, but, you know, maybe she wants to be the next tight head.
Yeah, fairly strong inkling, I think, that number 8 is where she wants to be and has played so well, of course, Jess Bryant. That's Swain again.
She's done well under pressure getting out of there.
Swain's done a lot of work, just showing her physical presence, even on the back foot, as Staples comes into contact.
She tidies up well.
And there she is again, Brian.
Looked like a high hit on her.
The Navy doing their best off their own try line here. And, well, a chance here to boot the ball away with a penalty.
So Navy just discussing what they're going to do. Referee speaking to the captains, just having a word.
Very tricky to break free of that French pressure in the last little period here, the Royal Navy, but an opportunity coming their way. And the French trying to rip that ball from the hands. Oh, and thumped there, Ellie Brightwell.
Guess who she met?
And under pressure there, Dixon. That ball just goes straight up, really. Oh, and hacked forward, though. And well taken in by Abigail Ashby. Possession retained.
Great touch by Ashby. Lovely little tap through. Again, look, tempo. Look at it working. Brilliant by Sinclair. Quick, quick, quick. Go again.
And eating up about 3 defenders there. And lovely pass from Dixon. And going through the phases here, the Royal Navy. Looking to change direction there.
This is where they need to kick. They need to play in different areas of the pitch. They got possession, so at least the French Navy aren't scoring, but they're being pinned in their 22. So tactically, you need to get a kicker to play in the right areas.
Oh, lovely work from Brian, just getting a bit more distance gained there.
Honeybell with some big carries.
And Jess Shaw wearing the number 17 shirt in blue. Dixon once more. Oh, and ferocious French pressure, but did well to get that ball away to Jasmine Abel.
Ashby again, lovely little soft touch, getting it to Abel.
And French counter-rucking has been very strong, as they've just showed.
Staples has come on and made quite a few carries already. Bit of a slice from Dixon, but could work. No, it doesn't.
Bounced into touch there, off the outside part of the boot. And just under 5 minutes to go here in Havant. And Marine Nationale Feminine 46, Royal Navy 5, as it stands. And well, what can the Navy conjure in these last few minutes? The French have the ball, and a huge cushion, of course, to work with. And make some rolling changes here. Number 6, Léa Morel, going off the pitch.
So we got a few shout-outs here. We got Kay Warner. So proud of my daughter, Erin Hart. First big game out for the Royal Navy. Love her, 47 million times over. Everyone is watching. Big sis, Kelsey, smash it, girls. And Sarah McClelland, shout out to Royal Navy team. Good to see they put in some of the stuff they practiced at joint training with the Yeovil rugby team last week. And shout out to Vom Mealy and Abby Ashby, ex-Yeovil rugby club players. Love that.
Brilliant stuff there.
And up the Yeovil, where Marley Packer's from, Red Rose, one of my old teammates. Thank you for your insights.
Get those messages coming through. And the French looking to come through here once again in a brilliant attacking position for them, and fantastic stuff from Manon Leduc. It's been proving very difficult to get down all game. And they managed to do so, but at the expense of quite a few metres there, the Royal Navy. And a replacement, Océane Garonier. And that ball's moving out, trying to make it quick among the hands of the backs there, the French. And right out, and a little grubber kick poked through, and a lovely, lovely bounce for number 22, Charlotte Ballaron, on the right-hand side. And once again, proving a very big threat on that wing.
Just wondered if she was in front of the ball when it was kicked, but no TMO it. So it is a try awarded, but just having that ability and awareness to see that, creating that 2-on-1 with a kick through, very, very talented. They've got all the tricks of the trade. They've even got the magic spray out, we're seeing.
Magic spray, is it as good as the magic sponge back in the day, though?
Yeah, magic sponge didn't really work for me. It still hurt. At least with the magic spray, it's a bit cold.
Well, they've made their half century there, the visitors. 51 points to 5, awaiting this conversion attempt. That's a fairly low one, but it's a good one. 53 points to 5. And as we approach the dying moments of this match,
Leduc started that all off, didn't she, with a massive run in that bottom left-hand corner. And she's still on. Nearly 80 minutes of rugby played and still forcing people to hang off her, gain those metres.
Well, they'll kick it off once more, the Royal Navy, in the final minutes of regular time in this match. And Havant. And don't forget, of course, we've got the men's sides going head-to-head in a little while. Coverage starting at 6:45 UK time. And that's spilled forward by Marine Nationale. So time for a scrum for the Royal Navy.
Good to see the Navy with so many new players, new faces coming into the squad.
Yeah, they've been stepping up today against a very tough opposition. But that'll stand them in good stead, Rocky, for inter-service battles in a few weeks' time.
Absolutely will, yeah. I think you can learn a lot about your players, your team in this game. And there's so many areas of light they have to build on, as we've talked about. If they play at tempo, if they get their breakdown positioning a little better, support a little bit better, going to make those differences, going to make those scoreboards slightly less and keep building.
And,
but they've certainly improved since last year when I've seen them. Really, really impressed by the improvement.
Yeah, they come up against the Royal Air Force at Franklin's Gardens, Northampton on the 19th of April. Another game we'll have live for you. Both those matches, the men's and women's matches, live from Northampton on the 19th of April. But as for now, in the last few moments of this game, they're looking to try and get something else out of this match. And they move it through the hands. Dixon again to Joanna Banks.
She's been lively in this second half, hasn't she? We've mentioned her name quite a lot. Got her hands on the ball, good to see, and running on at pace.
Had plenty to do, indeed. The replacement back. And just inching their way into the French half here, the Royal Navy. Opportunity to make some ground. That's Caitlin Bark. And Dixon once more. Out to Brian, who puts the boot in, Brian. Oh, and just forces a knock on, it seems, there as well.
Brian clapping herself. To fair play, it was a good kick. And I was thinking it's quite windy as the sun's in the French fullback's eyes. That could well be a knock on, and it was. That's a good gain for the Navy.
Perhaps a chance for a final opportunity here in this match for the Royal Navy. I want to finish this game on a good note. They've played their part. Maybe one or two chances they have had close to that try line that haven't quite gone their way. But they know they've made some very good passages of play as well. Particularly when they went down to 14 players. Out it comes again. And Dixon looking to move through that, that French defence, which is up like lightning. And they shape up on the right-hand side here. And the French looking to jackal that and just get their hands over it. But the Navy still have it. And Bark once again. Oh, and Dixon finding a lot of French players tracking her there once again. Not much change through the entire game for her. And she's got used to that. And the Navy just going backwards here in the face of French pressure. And the ball going forwards. And the referee calls the match. And a resounding win once again for Marine Nationale Feminine. Royal Navy 5, Marine Nationale Feminine 53. Plenty of tries out there. On a relatively warm spring day. And very clear to see is that French power in the pack. And their backs came to have a lot of fun as well, Rocky Clark.
Yeah, really exciting game to commentate, to watch. The French were too dominant in the end, though, overpowering in the forwards and just slick in the backs. And the quality of the players and the skill set, absolutely phenomenal by the French Navy. But that said, the Royal Navy kept at it. Some really good building blocks. If they can just string a little bit more together, they're going to get more change from it. But certainly some really good rays of light coming through.
Well, you never want easy fixtures when you're in the run into a massive inter-service championship battle, and it certainly has been a very difficult opposition to play today for the Royal Navy. Marine Nationale Feminine, who won 34 points to 5 when the two teams met in Vannes and Brittany last year. And indeed this year, showcasing all they have to offer, the versatility across the pitch. But the Royal Navy too, certainly in the form of Jess Bryan and others, have been showcasing just how many things they can do as well, and starting to see some cohesion there. And for 9 new faces, Rocky, to step into the fold, well, a brilliant learning ground in that sense too.
Absolutely, they should be really proud of the stuff they've achieved. They've been putting in structure, and that's something they lacked last time I commentated on them. So to see them, you know, play the phases, get the ball out, they need to maybe play in the right areas a little bit more. But building blocks, they're getting better, being able to look after their own ball in the rucks. They're getting people shifting the ball long, those little tip-ons, that tempo they played with in that second half, that opening 20 minutes, that's where they really came back into it. And they just have to utilise those and work on a few things. But certainly, you know, it's moving forward for the Royal Navy.
You know, come up against opposition in the form of the RAF on the 19th of April in that first inter-service match. And of course, before Army-Navy showdown at Twickenham on the 3rd of May. And plenty of pointers, as you say, Rocky, from that match today. Royal Navy players in that huddle, just debriefing really after a tough match, but plenty of positives to take away, to use that cliche. And the teams just getting ready for a presentation. Certainly plenty of respect between the two, and always wonderful to host or to travel, depending on the year, alternating between the two of them. And post-match presentation just about to get underway here. And the French backroom staff will be absolutely delighted. Their players jubilant in celebration and applauding the travelling fans. And some tricolor being waved down by the touchlines as well. And both sides with fantastic support in Havant. It's been very well supported throughout. And a good atmosphere as well for the players to enjoy. And that's been propped up, of course, as well by the band of the Royal Marines.
Yeah, the atmosphere is really electric here. Real celebration of rugby.
Yeah, celebration. And a reminder just how strong rugby is in France, and how strong rugby is in the UK as well. The Royal Navy coming up short today, but certainly played their part in this game. And certainly very good quality of rugby that we've watched. And the style has been fairly open, especially as the game went on as well.
Yeah, I think watch this space with this Royal Navy team. The foundations are there, and it's coming. It's coming. And, you know, it'll be difficult. I mean, there's a lot of new faces as well. When you've got nearly half your team as newbies, you've got a gel. So, you know, we're seeing the quality of some of these players. They just need to make sure they're playing as a team now. Just nail those processes, but certainly really exciting times for them, and I think we're going to see big things come from them.
Well, you mentioned your appreciation several times there for Jess Bryan. Who else impressed you this evening, Rocky Clark, right across that squad of 25 today?
Yeah, a number of players really put their hands up. I was really impressed by the likes of Brightwell, went really well. High work rate. Swain carried well. Obviously Bryan, who did everything. And yeah, Parnaby and Dixon, the Terminator. And Ashby as well. Second half really came alive. So, and there's loads of players that can be the backbone of that team, but they just need to make sure everybody's on the same page. You know, when they're hitting those rucks, they're getting over, they're getting low, they're being physical. Everybody's doing ball presentation. They're quick to those rucks. A couple of times they got turned over by being high in those rucks, and they're mistakes that you can keep out. And you've got to learn early. That's, for me, a couple of things they needed to do. Play in the right areas and be better at the breakdown.
Well, that post-match presentation party, Vice Admiral Andrew Burns, RNRU President, Vice Admiral Eric Jenicot, Marine Nationale DPM, Rear Admiral Steve Moorhouse, Royal Navy Rugby Union Chairman, and Rear Admiral Alexei Letis, Marine Nationale Secretary General. And player of the match, Clémence Ripin. A wonderful part she played in guiding her team to a thumping win. Getting over the half-century mark as well, 53 points to 5. And player from the Royal Navy tonight has been Rose Dixon, extremely resilient with all those tackles coming her way. Managing to keep structure in the middle of the park beautifully, despite the pressure exerted on her as captain. A symbol of unity with these teams, arm in arm. Clémence Ripin lifts the shield. And Marine Nationale Feminine, congratulations to them for celebrating, and warm applause from their Royal Navy opposition. And that brings to a close all the action from this women's match today. Of course, a double header as we get ready for the men. Royal Navy men against Marine Nationale men. And we've got that coming up very soon, with coverage starting at 6:45 UK time here on BFBS Forces News YouTube channel. It's a thanks to Rocky Clark very much. Always wonderful to have you in my company, Rocky. And it's been a real treat again today.
call centre a die.
New to this year's final exercise is a drone attack, where the engineers must take cover.
After 54 years of service, this iconic helicopter is retiring, but not before one last farewell flight.
The Ridgeback is a four-wheel twin-axle armoured vehicle. We can take one casualty on the stretcher.
NATO's top scientists are developing novel maritime solutions to give the alliance the upper hand.
One of the major plus points of these vessels is that they keep Royal Navy sailors safer.
The safety staff in the yellow helmets who are keeping an eye, everything, and they're in touch with each other via radio.